Aloha Sharks fans, welcome back to another episode of Sharks Weekly, your inside look at Hawaii Pacific University athletics, right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760. We're live from HPU Esports Arena, powered by DSC Hawaii, and today we're talking HPU Baseball. The season has already been a grind, and the Sharks have been taking on new Pac West members Westmont and Jessup, split a tough series against Biola, and are now preparing for a big matchup against Concordia Irvine this Friday at Hans Larange Field. We've got a great lineup of guests today, starting with HPU assistant coach Caleb Millikan, who graduated from HPU last year and now coaches first base for the Sharks. Also joining us are two key players making an impact this season. Bronson Rivera, senior left fielder from Holuloa, Hawaii, leading his team with a .339 batting average, 6 home runs, and 19 RBIs. Christian Padilla, junior pitcher from South San Francisco, California, dominating on the mound with a 1.64 ERA. And before we get the show started, quick shout out to our in-studio producer, Paul Breck. How are you doing today, Paul?
I'm doing well. Excited to talk to these guys. If our pre-show chat let us in on anything, we know that we got some personalities here in the studio once again. So excited to see where we get into, what we explore, and what these guys bring to the table today on 95.1 FM, AM 760, and here on HawaiiSportsRadio.com.
Yes, of course. And if you guys have any questions throughout the show, please text in your questions at 808-888-5481, and we'll try to get as many as we can throughout the show. So, Coach, let's start with you. We're a few weeks into season now. What's been your biggest takeaway from how the team has been performing so far?
I think one of the biggest takeaways is just I'm really impressed so far by this team's ability to, just grind and bounce back, be resilient in tough moments. That first California road trip, we struggled against a really, really good Westmont team. But then we're able to bounce right back against Azusa. Had a come from behind victory and, a big game that ended up, being a deciding factor in the series. Then against Biola, right, had a tough, first couple games and then bounced back, was able to salvage the series, and really grab the momentum. And, obviously looking forward to just keeping that going forward. But, obviously we've played some really good competition to start the year, and I feel like we've performed pretty well against them. So, I'm really excited to see what this team's going to look like, by the end of the year. I think we're definitely going to be competing for a Pac West conference tournament.
Yes, I hope so too. Every season, someone unexpected shows up. Who has been those players for you guys so far?
I mean, it's been, a big from a lot of returners. A lot of returners have come back. We kind of know what we're getting from them. I think, this year, we've had some freshmen really step up, right? Like Tyler Arnold, we kind of knew coming in, he was going to be one of our guys. But then guys like Ethan Murakoshi, he's gotten off to a really hot start. Him being a freshman, having, no college experience thus far, I've been really impressed, by him. And then obviously, having these guys come in and get off to a hot start, Bronson, just jumping right out of the gate, starting the year off hot with 6 home runs. Padilla has been, crucial for us out of the pen, literally probably one of our most valuable arms, him, Sente, and then McConaughey and Ryan Anola just coming out of the pen, being guys we feel like we can rely on in any situation late in the game. But I'd say, overall, we've just been playing really good team baseball. Even the guys that aren't, getting as many opportunities, they're staying locked in on the bench, right? And, you need those guys, right? If we have, 38, 40 guys on our roster, it takes that many guys to win a game sometimes. So, yeah, and I guess one more thing on that, kind of just with the style that we play, right? Everybody gets in the game pretty much, right? We're always making moves, making substitutions to try to, give us the best matchups, give us the best chance to win. And I've also been really impressed with how guys have, responded to coming off the bench, pinch hitting, pinch running, being a defensive replacement, situations that aren't very easy to, have success in a performance. I think guys, especially younger guys Jaden Gabrillo, they've handled that role very well.
Yeah, and that's hard sometimes, especially as freshmen coming in, not really knowing your role and getting that opportunity, right? So Bronson, you're hitting a .339 right now. That's no joke, right? What adjustments have you made to your approach this year compared to last year?
I'd say the biggest adjustments I've made in the off season, I tuned up my swing a little bit as far as mechanics wise, and tried creating a more consistent swing that'll help me out throughout the course of the season, and just simply just trusting the process and sticking with it, and trusting my approach and all my preparation once I get there in the box has really been the biggest adjustment I made. And yeah, just being on time for the fastball is my main thing when I'm in that box. So if I'm on time for that, I just trust in my preparation, and everything else will follow.
And 6 home runs already. Is there any specific home run that stands out to you the most right now?
I mean, the last one at home was pretty cool. It was in a big moment in the game for us. Our staff was dealing and keeping us in that game to a 0-0 ball game, and it felt really good to put the team ahead. And also to do it in front of the home crowd, and my family was there, so that was really cool to do it in front of them. So I really enjoyed that one.
Christian, with a 1.6 ERA, you've been shutting guys down. What's been the key to your success on the mound so far?
My main success is probably just having the same mindset every time I'm pitching. Usually I'm more of a little jokester when I'm playing, and usually when I'm just pitching on the mound, I walk in, try to go pitch by pitch, executing each pitch, and just going right to it.
Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your guys' mindsets before the game. Any pre-game rituals or weird things that you guys might do before the game? Let's start with you, Christian.
Yeah, so I'm very superstitious, so I have to do the same thing every morning. At night, I would clip my toenails and fingernails every day, or every day the night before. Just had to do it. And the next day I would have the same breakfast. I would have 2 eggs, a sausage, and put it in a tortilla and I'd eat it. And then I would always, every time I pitch, it's always a shampoo and conditioner day. That's my main thing. Just get the day off started, head to the field, and just that's how I usually lock in.
How did that superstition come to be? Like, what was the process like to put that together? Because it sounds like such a specific, obviously it is a very specific set of things in a row. What was it that made you think, this is what brings me the success? This is what I need to do? What was that game? Was there a practice? What was that moment for you?
Yeah, so I would always change things up, and whatever I do good with, I usually stick with. So I did it one day, and I was like, I'm just going to try this out. And after that, I've just been rolling. So I have to keep the same thing going.
So does that mean if you start to heaven forbid, of course, start to maybe fall out of this rhythm, would you change up this superstition that you have right now to try and tweak it and find something new then?
Yeah, 100%. If it's not working, I gotta change it. So, gotta find the next thing that's gonna work for me and get it done.
Bronson, what about you? What is your pregame superstitions or rituals?
Yeah, I'm the complete opposite. I don't really have any superstitions. I'd say I don't really believe in those as much. But I am very routine based. So I do the same thing every day. Basically, I'm very routine based, and typically, when I wake up, I like to just drink a coffee, eat my breakfast, kind of just get my mental prepared for the day, and just start my day off that way. And then we typically, with us, when games here at home, we'll typically have a lift. So I'll eat breakfast for that, and just get ready for the lift, head to lift, and from there on out, we're just with the team preparing for the day, and it's just mental preparation.
And I guess 2 very different positions, right? You're outfielder hitting, you're pitching, Christian. What is your guys' mindsets when you guys go out on the field, Christian?
Yeah, so when my mindset is, honestly, before the game, I would just try to stay as loose as possible, not think of anything, listen to music. But right when I step on that mound, it's game on. I just completely switch my tone. I don't know, if you come out to one of our games, I'm an angry person when I'm pitching. So I usually just lock in pitch by pitch and try to throw every pitch that our coach Dane calls.
What about you, Bronson? Stepping up into that batter's box. What is your mindset?
Smash the baseball,
And
win at all costs. But yeah, every time I'm in the box, I'm looking to hunt. I'm looking to hunt the pitcher and whatever I believe they have to come at me, and yeah, I'm looking to crush their baseballs every time I get in there. So yeah.
that mindset has obviously been working for you too, right? Caleb, being a former player, do you have any weird superstitions that are just as weird as Christians, or?
Trying to think back. I wasn't super superstitious. I mean, all the normal ones, right? Like never stepping on the line, anything like that. But no, I didn't put like my socks on in a certain order or anything like that. But yeah, kind of similar to Bronson. Like I was pretty routine based. I think like you don't got to do too little, you don't got to do too much. Like everybody is different. You just have to know what kind of gets you right for the game, and then just go out and execute that, and then you're ready to go. You have the confidence to compete. So
Love it. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Outriggers Resorts and Hotels. Hawaii-based Outriggers Resorts and Hotels is proud to support the collegiate athletes of Hawaii Pacific Universities. Stick with us when we come back. We'll break down what it'll take for HPU to compete this season, right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Network's 95.1 FM and AM 760.
Welcome back to Sharks Weekly on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760. Still here with assistant coach Caleb Millikan, outfielder Bronson Rivera, and pitcher Christian Padilla, talking all things HPU baseball. Coach, looking ahead, what are the biggest keys for this team to go through season strong?
I think a big one that we kind of found out this past weekend is just to bring consistent energy every single day. I'm pretty confident that if, we have 40, 45 guys locked in, right, and, being engaged with the game, getting behind their teammates, bringing energy every day, like there's not a team that can beat us. Last two games against Biola, right, like we had all hands on board, and even in the moments, when it was a close game where we were down, like at least in my mind, like there was never a doubt we were going to lose that game, just by bringing energy.
And how do you guys foster that energy, that bond that you guys need? Baseball is obviously a super mental sport. So how do you guys foster that culture?
I think it just has to be a focus every single game, and I think more so, right, it's not just, being loud on every pitch or anything like that, but, baseball is a game of momentum, so when there's an opportunity to seize that momentum, right, like that's when, we have to have guys get behind their teammates, stuff like that. Big moments in the game, like 2-out hits, 2-strike hits. On the pitching side, a guy gets out of a big inning, puts up a big shutdown inning, in a situation where we're swinging it well and we can come back at the plate. Those are the moments where, the dugout has to be loud, a guy's out there, he's battling, right? Like, guys need to get behind him. And I thought, we've done a really good job of that so far, and that's definitely one of the biggest keys for us to have success is just keep doing that.
And let's talk a little bit about how practices are structured. First, let's start with you, Christian. Being a pitcher, what does your guys' practices look like? High energy? What's going on?
I would say we're really high energy. I know a couple guys are really high energy. I'd probably say me and Jacob Vanek bring a lot of energy to the crowd. And usually at practice we probably stretch for like a whole hour, roll out, just talk story. It's basically what we do. And then we usually just, if we have bullpens that day, we'd throw up bullpens, catch play, and we'd probably shag BP, I think. That's usually what we do almost every day. And then that's basically a light day for us.
So let's talk, you had mentioned you were a starter last year. Now you're more taking the role of a reliever, closer. What has that been mentally for you, and how has that transition been?
Yeah, I feel like the transition's been great. I've been doing pretty well out of the bullpen. It's definitely a lot easier on my arm, coming from probably throwing like 100 pitches a game to around like 20 to 35 pitches. So it's a lot easier on my body, so it's easier for me to recover.
And I guess, what is your go-to pitch right now, or your most effective?
I would say probably my most effective pitch is probably my changeup when it's on, but when it's not, that pitch is probably going over the fence. So.
Oh boy. What about you, Bronson? What does your guys' practices look like? Obviously, it's separate and a little bit different from the pitchers.
Yeah, so practice at HPU, we like to pay attention to all the fundamentals within the game, from base running to hitting to defense. And I think here at this program, the coaches do a good job of creating a practice plan that addresses all those fundamentals, like every day. Whatever your defensive position is, we have defensive work where we get after it within our daily routines in that department, as well as hitting. All the hitters, we have our daily routines in that department, and even base running too as well. So at practice, it's just really just honing in on the fundamentals and keeping everything aligned within those aspects of the game.
Yeah. And you came from UH, right? How has that transition been for you coming to HPU?
It's been a really great transition, in all honesty. Coming into HPU, I was just looking for a home for my last year, and I felt like I found more than that here. I feel like I found a family, and I've been really blessed to be given this opportunity to have come here and finish out my last year and still be able to represent Hawaii and home. So I'm just really grateful towards Coach Dane and the HPU family here for accepting me with open arms, and I'm really happy to be here.
Love it.
A little bit curious what it's been like working with Richie Higa a bit as well. And Coach, maybe you can talk to what he has brought for you guys on the coaching staff. Seems like he helps out in pushing in that off-season improvement and pushing in those little areas. Can you talk about what his impact has meant just for development of guys kind of like Bronson or kind of like other hitters on your roster?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I don't think this program would be what it is without Richie. I got to experience it as a player last year, and now coaching with him this year. I mean, the guy works day and night to, try to find the best ways to get guys better. He understands, the numbers, the analytics behind, what's going on, and that drives a lot of it, right? I think when you understand that stuff like he does, right, development goes from becoming, throwing a bunch of stuff against the wall and seeing what sticks, versus, being able to pinpoint, what's going on with the swing or something like that. I've seen it, with guys, obviously, and it's on the guys too, right? Like Bronson's put in a ton of work on his swing, and that's why he's having the success he's having right now. So it also just boils down to, how badly guys want it and how much they're willing to learn and, buy into what he's teaching. But yeah, I think he just does a great job of making sure guys have everything they need in order to get better, and then motivating guys to put in that extra work and make sure that everything's locked in and they're ready to go for season. But yeah, definitely.
And for you guys, what's it like working with him whenever he is around? Is it as fun as it seems, or is he a little bit more of a drill sergeant with all these little ways he's found to help you guys out?
I have nothing but good things to say about Coach Richie. He's an awesome hitting coach, and it's been really refreshing to kind of have a more modern, younger staff, I'd say, here at HPU. They bring different perspectives that I necessarily didn't have before. And yeah, I have nothing but good things to say about Richie. He knows what he's talking about, and he's done his research and put in his time and effort to better his understanding of what makes hitters great and how to help them get there. And he has helped me out a lot since coming here. And yeah, we're really lucky to have him here at HPU, and he's really, really fun to work with, and yeah, really awesome.
Christian? No? I thought you said you're a DH. You just haven't had the opportunity yet.
Yeah, I don't really hit, but I would love to. But
I'm
yeah,
sorry.
I mean, I don't spend that much time with Richie because I'm on the pitching staff. But Richie, I would say he does help me a lot because I would go up to him and ask him, what can I do to get better? Because he's a hitting coach, so he has to learn what pitchers do. So I try to have him tell me what I'm doing. Am I falling into a pattern? Am I going to get caught by the other team getting my signs picked? So he's definitely helped me a lot with
That's
that.
great.
It's a creative way to make sure that the hitting coach can get in on the pitching conversation as well. Coach, I'm also when it comes to the flipping of a starter to a reliever, sometimes in the bigs you'll see they whittle down the pitch repertoire, right? Allows the pitchers to kind of focus on one or two pitches that they are extremely good at rather than trying to, when you're a starter, obviously, go 3-4 different pitches to have the variety. Is that what you guys try and do when you also flip over a starter to a reliever, focus a little bit more on those, and talk a little bit more about the transition that you've seen from the case directly to your left?
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't feel like that's totally the case with us. I mean, obviously, like, here at HPU, like, we pride ourselves and our pitching staff on being strike throwers. He already had really good stuff, coming in that he could command, right? So I think the focus is, just it's more of a mental thing, just coming out of the pen versus being a starter. But I'd say, yeah, as long as you can command your pitches, right, like, that's what we're rolling with. So, yeah.
And we had talked a little bit about energy in the beginning. Who do you guys, this is an open question, is the most vocal on the team?
Keanu.
And why?
Yeah, Keanu's a big one, but I would probably say Tex is probably our biggest vocal.
Shout out Tex.
Yeah.
Yeah, so gets a little weird with it. He does rally leg hair pulls. So when we need a rally going, he twists his leg hair and he just yells rally leg hair pull and twists them and pulls them off, and he just grabs so many leg hairs and it fires us all up. So he's got to keep doing it.
On himself or on you guys?
Oh, on himself.
Interesting. I guess it gets his blood flowing and some adrenaline.
And who is this again? Just there. I know you said Tex. What's his full name?
Ryan Schulke.
Thank you.
Interesting. Very interesting. Would you agree with that, Bronson?
Oh, absolutely. Especially after being with him a little bit more on the road trip we just went on. I was like in the vans with him not 24/7, but a lot. And I got to see him open up a lot more, and he definitely brings a whole lot of energy and life to the team. But I think the whole pitching staff does as well. They do a really good job of always bringing life and energy to the field or to the weight room, whether it's at 5 a.m. in the morning or 6 p.m. at night. So shout out to the whole pitching staff and Tex.
Yeah, sounds like you guys have a great support system really building right now. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Bank of Hawaii is a proud supporter of Hawaii Pacific University Athletics and the only local bank ranked one of America's most trusted companies by Newsweekly. Member FDIC, equal housing lender. Coming up next, we're talking about road trips, travel stories, and what it's like being back at Hans Larange Field, right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
All right, we're back on Sharks Weekly on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760. Talking with assistant coach Caleb Millikan, Bronson Rivera, and Christian Padilla about life on the road and being back at Hans Larange. So guys, what's the best part about traveling with the team?
Yeah, I would probably say like the fun stories that come with it. It's probably the best.
Okay, we'll get into that in a little bit. What about you, Bronson? Any favorite foods or like what's the best part? You guys have been on one road trip so far?
So far, yeah.
What has that been like on the road for you guys?
For me personally, I've always enjoyed going on the road trips. I think they're the best time of the season, as much as I love being at home. But just being with the guys pretty much 24/7 is just an absolute blast. It's like being a little kid and having sleepovers at your friend's house all week. So it's really fun, and we all get to play the sport we love. So it's an amazing time on the road, experiencing new things, seeing new places, eating new foods. It's always a blast, and just simply being with the guys is the best part to me.
And Christian, any crazy stories about on the road that you guys want to share? That's radio appropriate.
Yeah, I actually have two funny stories. One of them just popped in my head right now. So the first one was, so me, Bronson, and Makana, we were gonna go and get some gelatis down in Anaheim, and so I come up to their room. Makana's in the shower, and you just hear a big boom, and apparently Makana fell out of the shower while he was scrubbing his feet. So that's probably my favorite story from the road trip that we just had. And I'd probably say my second story was, so we were getting our laundry from our coach's room, and Dane and Millie accidentally locked themselves out of their room in their underwear. So they had to call Richie and ask him to get them back into their room. So that was another funny story.
Let's remember that Coach Dane is listening in right now too, and I don't know if he's gonna appreciate you sharing that story.
Yeah, I think actually,
you might be running a little bit later on, you know?
Yeah, actually I run a lot during practice, so
that's fair.
Yeah.
Bronson, you have any fun stories that have happened so far? Any memorable moments?
Endless hours of Mafia. It's an infamous baseball game. I guess only the guys know, but just infamous hours of Mafia. Yeah.
Seems like a trend amongst baseball players right now.
What is Mafia? Explain that a little bit, as much as you can, for the radio audience who might be listening in and don't know.
To keep it short and simple, straight to the point, it's basically... Christian, you can probably explain this better.
Yeah, so Mafia, basically, there's an imposter that you're trying to figure out, and everyone's like a civilian. Everyone's got their eyes closed, and then you just basically start killing people off and try to figure out who the bad guy is, basically, and you're just trying to vote him out to win the game.
Gotcha. So basically just Among Us with
a
different name. Amazing. How useful are these road trips, Coach, to see the team come together, and how big is that when it comes to baseball, right? A game that is in so many ways so mental, so difficult at times. How important can these road trips and the bonding on these road trips be?
Oh, it's incredibly important. I mean, even like the games of Mafia that guys are playing, and you got to kind of start to figure out the personalities like within the games. Like certain people always die first, stuff like that. But yeah, I mean, it's huge, right? Like you get, only so much of a picture of kind of, how guys are, the personalities when, you're at home. But when you go on the road and, everybody's, with each other in the van, stuff like that, just messing around. Definitely new experiences happen, and, different guys, kind of let their personalities show a little bit more. So yeah, no, it's definitely, I love the road trips. I think they're great for, the team culture, the team experience, being able to go to California and have all those experiences.
Before we keep on going, and I do want to get your guys' thoughts on that, the players. We did get another text from Coach Dane, 100% not true, and confirming that Christian will be running later. So just updates for people listening live and on demand. Christian having a good time here today. I don't know if that will be the case later on. But how about for the road trips? Are those a good time in terms of bonding together? And you've talked about the pitching crew, how they've bonded together. How important is it just full team? How important is it for you to bond with the hitters as well on these road trips?
Yeah, I feel like we've always all been together, but that road trip definitely brought us a lot closer. So I'm excited. I think it's Wednesday we travel to Northern California, so excited to be with the guys again for a little longer period of time. So that's going to be fun to bond with them even more closer.
Bronson, you've got some experience when it comes to traveling and whatnot. What's it like for you traveling with this team as well from that front? And are there any challenges as well? And you can obviously answer this too, Christian. What are some challenges when it comes to road trips that you guys perhaps face, even if it may seem like a little thing? Baseball, we talked about it before. Your superstitious or your routine gets a little thrown off. It can throw everything off. Does traveling on the road make those any more difficult?
A Not really. I would say like the only like difficult part is probably a little school. A little the van rides are kind of long, just basically short. It's just kind of squeezing in, but at least in the van rides we get to play Mafia, so that's kills a lot of time while we're driving to games.
And I guess for me, my biggest question, you guys are back at Hans Orange, right? I know you guys weren't, Christian and Bronson, you guys weren't here last year, right? So Caleb, what is that like for you guys as a coaching staff and the veterans coming back? How is that? Like, are you guys excited
Oh
about
yeah,
it?
it's amazing. It feels like a stadium. It feels like home. I mean, Corp was Corp, but it's kind of demoralizing a little bit when you got a high school game going on right next to your game, and there's more fans over at the high school game. So being back at Hans, like in an actual stadium, we have the entire community come out to support. I remember the first day we were there in the fall. I was kind of a little mad because we didn't get to have that last year. But no, like I love that we have that for the guys this year. Feels like home. We love Hans. Hans is great.
And Bronson, how has it been for you playing in front of you get to play in front of your parents, right? Maybe your family. How has that been since going into college? Not a lot of kids get that opportunity to do that. How has that been for you?
Yeah, it's truly a blessing, and I never take a day for granted. Especially with this being my last year, it's just I'm very grateful for everything that has come and that is yet to come. And yeah, just playing, I believe playing for home and playing for Hawaii, it means a lot to me. I take a bunch of pride in that. And like I said, I'm just really grateful to continue to be able to represent Hawaii here at Hawaii Pacific, and love playing in front of the local people and the home crowd here at home.
Yeah, it's a different crowd, yeah.
Yep, absolutely. Special.
Yeah, definitely. Christian, what made your choice coming to Hawaii? What was the biggest deciding factor, besides Coach Dane and it being Hawaii, I guess? What was the biggest deciding factor?
Yeah, so I've been talking to Dane for a while about coming here, but I would say the deciding factor was our captain, Sente, and Connor Horgan. So they took me out to a Giants game back at home, and they basically just talked about Hawaii, how it's awesome out here, and I 100% agree, do not regret my decision at all. So that's definitely how I decided to come here. They just convinced me at a Giants game.
Nice. And Caleb, how has the recruiting for next year been going? Are you guys looking at local talent? Coach Dane does a great job at bringing in a lot of transfers. So what is kind of like the pieces that you guys are looking for next year?
I mean, we've got a great class coming in for 2025. We got a lot of local guys, high school kids, a couple good, starting pitchers that are going to be competing for spots next year. So we're pretty thrilled with that. And then obviously now, being in season, we're kind of geared more towards, junior college guys and transfers. So, still finalizing some things up, but I'm pretty stoked about the class we have coming in next year.
And this is an open-ended question. What are some of the things that you guys are hoping to achieve on this next road trip when you guys go up?
Win. That's all that matters, is winning. Simple.
I love it. I guess you're right. It is as simple as that, right? And
But to add on to that, just playing our best ball as a team is really our main focus. We know that we have a good team and a really talented team, and if we play our ball on both sides of it with good pitching, good defense, and timely offense, we know we can compete and hang with anybody out there. And the goal is to ultimately make the Pac-West tournament at the end of the year and win that and continue moving on from there. So in order to do that, we have to win and just take it one day at a time, one game at a time, and just put our head down and not look up to the end of the year. So just win.
love that. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Before we go, Wai'ea Water is a proud sponsor of HPU Athletics. Don't leave the quality of your drinking water and your health to chance. Wai'ea Water's atmospheric water generators create clean, pure, eco-friendly drinking water right from the air. One final segment coming up. What's Next for HPU Baseball right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
You're listening to Sharks Weekly on the Hawaii Sports Radio Networks, 95.1 FM and AM 760.
All right, wrapping things up on Sharks Weekly with assistant coach Caleb Millikan, outfielder Bronson Rivera, and pitcher Christian Padilla. Let's talk about the road ahead. Coach Pac West is never easy. How does a team keep progressing through game after game?
I mean, I think one of the biggest things is just taking care of, our bodies, right? Staying healthy, making sure that, we're still going strong by the end of the year. And then other than that, just keep, drilling in the details, the little things. I think going back to like practice, we're pretty fortunate this year. We have a lot of guys who really like to put in the work outside of practice, especially with the fielding, the hitting, stuff like that. I think the silver lining in that is it leaves more time in practice to focus, on the details, the little things within the game. So I think we just keep getting better at that. Keep bringing energy, and just stay strong, stay consistent, stay healthy, and we'll be good.
Are you guys still practicing at Kehi?
Oh, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. Not the best facilities, right?
I mean, that's my favorite field in the world, to be honest. I love Kehi Lagoon, yeah.
Why is that?
It's just got a certain charm to it that I've never found anywhere else. I mean, that's, one of the things we take pride in, too, right? Like, our motto is Kehi built. We're the Kehi boys, so... we love Kehi Lagoon.
Well, and that's what I was going to get at. You guys really made it your own. I mean, we have Christian right here wearing Kehi Boys right now. What does that mean for you guys as well as players?
Yeah, I mean, to add in on that, like for me, coming in, being formerly at UH down the road and coming here, it's in a sense like taking a step back to kind of like the type of fields I grew up playing on. So it allowed me to kind of just tap back into that realm. And to me, that's like the Sandlot, where nothing else matters but baseball. Like all the outside distractions, all the outside noise. Like you literally just show up and you get to work, regardless of the circumstances of how nice the field is or what it may be. Like we know it's nothing special, but just like Millie said, there's a charm to it, just embracing the grind and the grit behind that. It's really like the Sandlot. Like you just turn it into your own safe haven, your own paradise in a sense. And that we take a lot of pride in being practicing there at Kehi because we know it's not a easy environment. And we have a blast out there.
What about you, Christian? How is that atmosphere? What does it mean to you?
Yeah, it's definitely a great place to practice, I feel like, in my opinion. It's nice. Well, it's nice for us. We love playing there. If honestly, I feel like if we had all our home games there, we would win every single game. There's no other team ever played on Kehi, so it's definitely fun.
I would love our home games to be there instead of all the way out in Waipahu. But anyway, let's talk a little bit more about your guys' goals going through season. Small goals. Obviously, the bigger goal is going and playing in the Pac West tournament. But day by day, week, and then month. Let's start with you, Christian.
Yeah, probably my main goal is probably just shutting guys down basically when I'm playing. So throwing up a 0 every inning, it's 3 outs at a time. I'm not trying to throw 3 innings. I'm trying to throw 3 outs, and then once I'm done with that, I'm trying to get my next 3 outs. That's my goal when I'm throwing.
What about you, Bronson?
Yeah, my main goal is just to be as consistent as I can be all year for the team. Obviously be healthy as well. Availability is the best ability, but I just want to be as consistent as I can personally in the box and on defense to help out my team win. Just showing up every day and hopefully making an impact towards helping my team win is my main goal, and just being as consistent as possible. Yeah.
And what is the biggest difference in play-wise going from D1 to D2 that you've seen so far?
Well, baseball is kind of a special game. I believe there's talent at every level. Like size doesn't matter at this game. Size, height, strength, all of that. It's kind of a weird game. So I've seen talent at all levels, but as far as the transition from D1 to D2, it's just the consistency in the higher, more talented levels. But there's definitely ballers here at the D2 level, and I've seen it all year. Every team, even our team. So yeah.
And let's talk about your JUCO product, right, Christian? How has that transition from junior college to now D2 been for you?
Yeah, so it's a lot different for me. So I played at a junior college that was 10 minutes away from my house. So I would go home every day. I stayed at home, so all I would do is go to the field, go to school, come back. I'd do the same thing. And now out here, it's basically the same thing, but without my family here. So I picked up a whole new family, all these group of guys, spend all day with them. I live with 17 of baseball guys out at Colo Terrace, so we all are always together. So that's probably the biggest change.
How long did that transition kind of take for you? You talk about the comfort of being close to home, and I mean, you're literally on an island out here. How long did that transition take for you, and how much did that impact how you felt when you were going out there to play, when you were going out there to pitch?
Yeah, so at first it was kind of easy, and then the first probably month of school I was kind of like a little homesick, but once I started hanging out with the whole team, I just basically was not homesick anymore. My parents try to come out like twice a semester, so it's not as bad on me. So that's basically the biggest thing.
That's great. And I guess you've been working on your pitching. Let's talk about your hitting. Let's get your case out there for Coach Dane to let you hit maybe one.
Yeah, Dane, I don't know if you know this, but I batted .333 in high school, and I played at a pretty good high school. It was only 6 at bats, but
I was gonna say, what's the sample size on that?
Yeah, I think if you put, who would I like to face on our team? If you gave me Steven, I think I can get a hit against him. So if you let me just one AB at practice, I can show you what I got.
I think we got to live stream that. We need that like Instagram live or something like that whenever that at-bat does happen, just to have proof one way or another. And that way either he can prove himself or maybe Coach Dane can be proven right. A little background quickly for people who might not be caught up. Coach Dane did text in and say that Christian will not be hitting this season after after we made the joke about him potentially DHing later. So I don't know. That was a decent pitch. 333. That would get you into the Hall of Fame if we just don't look into
how many at bats he had.
Into the total stats is just one number. It's not bad. Hey.
Oh God.
How do you do against Vicente? You think you can get one off Vicente?
Oh, 100%. I mean, I grew up with him. He was maybe when I was like 5 years old. Him and my brother grew up. They were best friends growing up. So I've always known Vicente. His little brother and me, we've always played on the same baseball team. So I have them like the back of my hand, so I can definitely get a hit against him too.
Yeah, familiarity. It's a funny thing. That's a good one last question for you, Bronson. How much does familiarity against these pitchers help you when you're in the box, when you're trying to, like you said, smash some of these baseballs over the fence? How much has the familiarity and increasing your familiarity with these pitchers helped you with that?
Yeah, just being able to take live at-bats off them all fall and leading up before spring started has been real beneficial for not only me but for the whole team. Just seeing that live pitching out the hand and just competing in that aspect in a live situation that's as close to the game as we're gonna get. And the staff has bettered me all year, competing and throwing their best stuff at me to try and get me out. And it's been a blast being able to compete against them and being able to, the little small trash talking here and there between each other and things like that. Just competing and making each other better. So it's been real fun and awesome bettering each other.
And that's a wrap on Sharks Weekly. Huge thanks to assistant coach Caleb Millikan, Bronson, Rivera, and Christian Padilla for joining us. You've been listening to Sharks Weekly, broadcasting live from HPU Esports Arena, powered by DSC Hawaii, right here on Hawaii Sports Radio Network, 95.1 FM and AM 760. See you next time.